So there's been a lot of confusion when you start your keto and intermittent fasting plan related to how many calories that you should be eating, and also the concept of don't eat unless you're hungry. Do you just go based on your appetite? If you look at what the mainstream recommendation is with calories, for a female, it's 2,000 calories a day. For a male, it's 2,500 calories a day. But of course, they're not factoring in that you're doing keto or intermittent fasting. When you do keto intermittent fasting, you're switching the fuel source to your own fat calories. So it's not just about your dietary calories that you're consuming. It's about also including the calories that are on your body as stored fat. A non-fat person is walking around with over 100,000 calories of fat. An obese person has a lot more. Could be double, could be 200,000 or more calories of fat. Now that's a lot of potential energy to last you for many, many days or some months. So you really have to look at, okay, so the dietary calories plus, it could be 700, 800 calories of your own fat being used up every single day. Well, that can actually factor into everything as well. You also have your age, okay, and your metabolism rate. If you've done a lot of diets in the past and your metabolism is slow, well, then you're not going to need as many calories, of course. If your stress is high, that's going to affect how many calories that you're burning and your activity level. Let's say, for example, you're very, very active and you work out versus someone that's not very active. So you really want to look at all these things right here. Now, in past videos, I've talked about using this one concept, don't eat unless you're hungry, okay? I'm going to add a few things to that just to clarify it. Also look at your energy. If you're tired, that means you're missing something. Not just fuel, it could be certain nutrients. Because we do need fuel to run our bodies as energy, and we also need the nutrients as cofactors in the repair of tissues, in the creation of tissues, in the chemical pathways. They're helper molecules to make sure everything is running effectively. We also need phytonutrients to help protect against all the oxidation and the free radicals that are constantly interfering with our tissues. Yes, we're going to be using this as a good indicator. If you're not hungry, don't eat, right? But also be aware of your energy and your mood. If you're doing this correctly and you have enough nutrients and you have enough fuel because you're running on your fat fuel, your mood should be quite high. You should not have anxiety, and you definitely shouldn't have depression, nor should you be grouchy. Also, your strength. If you're strong, you have a good mood and good energy, that means it's working, okay? So if you're not hungry and you have these things right here, then don't change anything. Keep going as long as you can. But if you start to get tired, grouchy, and a little bit weak, then we know it's time to eat. And also, when you eat, make sure your foods are nutrient dense. Simply because after you eat, you're going to be doing fasting, and we want to make sure that you have enough nutrients to run your body on because you're not eating anything. When you're fasting, you're going through autophagy, and that is a process where your body is becoming very, very efficient. It's recycling old proteins, and it's slowing down the need and requirement for nutrients. So you're not going to need nearly as much because your body's becoming way more efficient. Now, of course, there are a couple other things you want to look at. If you're losing hair, that could mean you need more B vitamins or more trace minerals. Or you're losing muscle mass, well, obviously you need more amino acids. And you can take these nutrients while you're fasting, which I always recommend to make sure you can avoid these things right here. And it's also just not about giving yourself fuel and making sure you have enough nutrients. One of the bigger benefits of doing keto and IF together are the therapeutic benefits of reversing the effect of diabetes, prediabetes, and insulin resistance. I'm talking about regrowing brain cells. I'm talking about dropping the inflammation, restoring the heart function. So it's definitely not just about losing weight. As your guide or your indicators for knowing you're doing it correctly, if your appetite goes away, you're not hungry, that's a really good indication that you're in ketosis. But also, Pay attention to your energy level, your mood, and your strength. Thanks for watching. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's some only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto and Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.